Hello and welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end, as we focus on one volume each episode. We keep the discussion spoiler-free for new fans of the series, so this is a perfect place to follow along, whether you're new to the series or just want to visit the world of One Piece with us. This week, we will be covering Volume 34, The City of Water, Water 7, which covers chapters 317 through 327. My name is Joel, and I'll be your host. And joining me today, we have Sean.
This is Sean.
And we have Evan.
Hello.
And we have a new face. We have Cody.
What's going on?
New member of the crew.
Yeah, so we're back from a little hiatus. We got hit by a slow beam, and now it's just wearing off. So we're back on track.
Longest 30 seconds of my life.
yeah. The chapter was on break during the time. So. But yeah, so before we do dive into the exciting conclusion of the Davy Back fight, how about we get a little introduction for Cody? You can tell us a little bit about your history with One Piece and kind of what it means to you, kind of thing.
Oh man, let's go. So One Piece is easily my favorite thing in the world. Okay, I'm about to be really old. I think September 2004, there was like one of those little scholastic book orders in school. And this was like a little bit after Yu-Gi-Oh came on, like Kids WB on Saturday mornings. And I was just, it hooked me in. And I see Yugi's face on a little thing in the book order. It's like the first volume of that manga. And then like there's this whole magazine with Yugi on the cover. And I'm like, that seems really cool. When I open it up, it's not Yugi in there. It's like some guy with like fur all around his head getting hit by a clown, and then a guy in a red vest kicks the fur guy. And I'm just thinking, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and I need more. And then I learned about our Lord and Savior Bucky D. Clown, and I just One Piece just became a mainstay in my life from then on. And I actually recently moved out to LA just under a year ago, and Joel was one of the first friends I made out here. And he very graciously extended me an invitation onto the podcast, and I wanted to make sure I'd be able to commit and not be flaky with him, and give it the time that a project like this deserves. And I said, okay, I'm going to try and figure my stuff out, but if you get to a certain arc before I'm able to, let me know. And then like, I have to, and we've gotten to that arc, and I had to, and I have, and I am so glad to be here with y'all. This is going to be amazing.
All right, awesome. Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Happy to have you.
Thanks, friends. Happy to be here.
All right, so yeah, needless to say, Cody's a big fan as well. So again, just a reminder, this is a spoiler-free podcast, so we're not gonna like speculate like on things coming up or like how things are really tying to future stuff. So we're gonna try to just focus on what we're going through here. So no need to worry about that. All right, so without further ado, let's get back to where we left off from the last volume. After arriving at Long Ring Long Land, Foxy challenged Luffy to a Davy Back fight, a series of competitions where the winner can permanently steal members from the losing crew. Luffy quickly accepted in order to get back at Foxy for shooting Sherry. First up was a boat race around the island. It seemed the Straw Hats were able to get the upper hand. When they're about to win, Foxy revealed his Devil Fruit powers by shooting a slow beam that trapped the Straw Hats in their tracks, while the Foxy Pirates snatched the first victory. As a reward, they sold the Straw Hats' beloved doctor, Chopper. Next, Zoro and Sanji had to put aside their differences in order to defeat the groggy monsters, despite their disadvantage in numbers and size. After an impressive victory, they were able to win Chopper back. Finally, it came down to Captain versus Captain. Luffy unveiled his outfit for the fight, equipped with an afro. The two captains went back and forth until Foxy seemed to be close to finishing off his opponent. To his surprise, Luffy kept getting back up again, no matter how much of a beatdown Foxy dished out. Luffy rose up, shouting he'll never give up a member of his crew, even if it kills him. Okay, so we have some stakes here. So Luffy has to, defend his friends here. He doesn't want to lose anybody, so he has to make sure he wins this fight. Okay, so let's get into the next chapter, chapter 317, KO. Luffy's determination has won the hearts of the entire crowd, including the Foxy pirates. Unhappy with the crowd turning on him, Foxy tries to win them back. He uses his slow beam sword on Luffy and follows up by flying in on his glider, the Foxy fighter. He rests the glider on a slowed down cannonball and sets his sights on Luffy. The effect wears off of Luffy just in time for him to get out of the way of the glider, but Foxy lands a punch as he passes by. Luffy gets back up once again, but he notices something that he believes will guarantee a victory. They trade blows before Foxy once again prepares to use his slow beam. He sends out the beam, but then to the crowd's confusion, both fighters stop mid-punch. Luffy is still able to move, revealing a shard of the broken mirror that was stuck in his afro from earlier. He reflected the beam back at Foxy, leaving him wide open for a gum flail. As Luffy waits for the hit to take effect, he walks over to the front of the ship as the crowd counts down. When 30 seconds are up, Foxy is sent flying while Luffy makes a victory pose.
I just love that the afro was the key to victory.
Came through.
It came through.
That was a tactical advantage.
It really was. Usopp knew. He saw. He figured it out. And like even the like I want to say a few pages in the chapter when Foxy is just like slugging Luffy from the glider and Luffy falls back, just like the way that the impact lines follow through on the afro itself, like radiating out and then falling back, like that's just, I would have took a gag and made it work for the story visually. Like, what a guy.
And it pays off too because of like the setup from where Luffy was trapped down below with the puncher.
Yep.
And it basically like it was just like a happy coincidence that he had the mirror shard like stuck in his afro. Like he notices like mid fight. It's like we don't know exactly what Luffy sees at first, and we see him put the pieces together. He's like, "Oh, this will work because I saw it work downstairs. So I know it's gonna work here." So he has a perfect counter to Foxy's move.
Yeah.
Luffy's always come up with a resourceful way of beating his opponents.
Yeah, he just sees those little things.
I love the cannonball glider that he's like literally riding on a cannonball as it speeds up. That's such a cool move.
It's very like Green Goblin-esque.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, see what you want, Foxy, but I feel like he had a really creative use of his devil fruit powers.
For sure.
Like he's up there.
Yeah, like this is somebody who like has put a lot of time and like practice into these fights and uses the devil fruit in such like effective ways. Like he throws like a bunch of stuff that like people can't keep up with, and that's why he's won so many times like in a row. It's because people don't expect this and they don't have like a real way to counter this. They haven't been in a situation where Luffy was able to adapt to overcome it, so Luffy found the counter to it. But I get the impression that nobody else seems to get that far.
Yeah, and maybe it's because like, I mean, like the way Luffy won was seeing, oh, hey, there's this little thing that happened. Oh, that's what I can leverage for victory. Like it's that creativity, and I feel like it's like a battle of that aspect. Maybe.
Yeah.
He was also able to hold out long enough to like come up with something. Like you were saying, with most opponents, he probably ended them pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But Luffy's resilient and like holds out, goes the distance.
He's a champion.
Yeah. Speaking of endurance, I think there's just something really cool about the way Oda draws people who have just like gotten the snot beat out of them.
Yeah.
It's like Luffy standing at the start of the chapter and like the cross hatching. It's like, man, he's really wow.
That is what you call #battle damage. that is an action figure waiting to happen. Battle damage Luffy.
Yep.
Yeah, so they can sell the same figure like twice with just
exactly, just like
details.
with some minor costume difference. Yeah.
Yeah, Luffy does take a serious beating here as well.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, like I think a little bit in the last volume. Like Foxy is like quite formidable at this point. Like Luffy is only getting up because he's so determined. Like it's who he is. Like any other person would have been like totally wiped out at this point. Like he's taken like so many punches and he's just been totally beat up. Like he's like bloody and everything. And yeah, so he's just so determined to win for his friends that he's still getting up. And he even like wins over the crowd. So like the Foxy Pirates are cheering for Luffy and like
I love when the countdown starts That was so
Yeah.
good. And the Straw Hats
Like
start
everybody
the
gets into
countdown.
it.
So good.
Is it now? He's like, wait, what's going on? Why are we? It's like the one person in a musical who like is like everyone's bursting into song except them.
Yeah, so I think Usopp says what's going on, and then Nami says that they're
Oh.
not moving. But I think nobody knows like what's going on. Like they're all trying to process like what happened. Like they don't know why everybody's just like why Foxy and Luffy are just kind of standing there.
Oh yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah, Zoro, Sanji, Robin all got the memo, but everyone else is kind of, or even Usopp steps in, and then the whole crowd steps in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like that moment where we see like they're both standing there, and then Luffy falls down first to show that he's not stuck in the beam. So like it shows that he wasn't affected.
Mhm.
So I like that moment of realization where we see that play out, and then then they notice like what's going on. And then Luffy, like a boss, just kind of starts like he knows the fight's won, so he just starts walking away to do his victory pose.
And man, what a pose! What a sell!
He knew
I
what he
love-
had and he used it.
I also love like the slow contortion of Foxy's face as it's slowly taking effect.
And then
Just
just doesn't matter.
slowly warping. Yeah. And then there's that final shot where he's like almost like half a circle. Like he's so
Yeah, he's like bending,
bent
like,
out of, he's literally bent out of shape and then just gets launched.
It's so good.
So satisfying. This guy's Rocky pose at the end too. Pretty badass.
Yo, Adrian, I did it. Yeah. So, any other thoughts on this one?
That's mostly what I had.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Slow mo KO.
All right, so let's move on to the next part of the cover story. Gadatsu's Unexpected Life on the Blue Sea, Volume 4. Goro, the Hole Digger's dream is Hot Spring Island. Goro invites Gadatsu into his home to discuss his plans for the island, but Gadatsu seems to be struggling to figure out how to get in.
Poor guy.
Oh, buddy. Oh man.
Like, like Goro's walking through the door, and Gadatsu's head's like in the window.
He didn't have a lot of brain cells to spare, and then he fell from the sky.
Yeah.
That could not have helped.
Maybe Goro's like, oh, this guy probably hit his head when he fell down. Like that's probably why he's
Yeah.
like this.
I bet
It looks-
Gadatsu could make like eating soup funny.
Yeah.
For sure. The birds in the background have his hairdo.
Yeah.
I realize that.
So it makes you wonder, like, did they come from Sky Island, or did he just land in a place that's like perfect for him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Are they particularly inspired? I don't know.
Yeah, also, Gadatsu doesn't have any aids anymore, so like they can't help him like figure out like how to do life.
Basic tasks. Yeah.
So yeah, he's gonna struggle a little bit here. All right, but let's get Evan's summary for the next chapter.
All right, chapter 318, Closure. Foxy is sent flying to the crowd's utter shock. With a splash, Foxy lands outside the ring. The bell sounds and it's settled. Luffy is victorious. The crowd erupts in applause. Later, Luffy wakes up from a post-duel power nap, a bit confused, but the Straw Hats assure him it was no dream, he won the match. Luffy is relieved. Just then, Foxy approaches and offers Luffy a congratulatory handshake, but instead chooses vengeance, trying to throw Luffy over his shoulder, which backfires as Luffy's arm stretches, causing Foxy to faceplant. Moving on, Foxy honors the rule of the Davy back fight, asking Luffy which of his crew members he would like to take. But Luffy chooses to take the Jolly Roger. But instead of leaving the Foxy Pirates without a sail, Luffy offers to paint over their Jolly Roger with a new symbol. Admittedly, not his best work, but it's the thought that counts. Foxy and his crew set sail as Foxy yells out to Luffy, saying they'll remember this. The Straw Hats return to Tonji and Sherry. Luffy hands Tonji the Foxy Pirates Jolly Roger as a symbol of their revenge. Then Tonji invites everyone into his home and to everyone's shock, they notice a tall man has been sleep standing in front of the door the whole time. Robin is clearly distraught at the sight of this man, putting the crew on edge. He then makes a comment towards Robin using her full name. His identity is revealed as Admiral Aokiji of the Naval Headquarters. Aokiji? Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Cool.
Chilling.
This guy.
What a guy. It's such a great intro. Like just this guy who he's just so illogical. And then we'll get into that later on. I don't want to put the cart before the horse.
Yeah, his full panel is him literally standing up sleeping. But he knows Nico Robin, and this is the first time we've gotten any kind of like Nico Robin history or someone from her past. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it seems like it's not a good thing.
No.
Yeah, meeting here.
From her reaction, not a good thing. But I love how her crewmates pick up on that. Like Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji quickly pick up on Robin's reaction and are like very defensive right away, which felt good.
Yeah, like we haven't seen Robin like really act scared in a lot of situations. True. Like usually like when it's life or death, like she usually has she's level-headed and calm. So this is like the first time like we've like seen her like really get rattled like this.
I think that the closest like she's come in our perception has been like in the tomb when she was saying like, no, like leave me. I don't want to live anymore. But I don't think anything past that, and even that was like just Luffy.
No.
Yeah.
Evan, what'd you think of Aokiji when you first saw this guy?
Aokiji, I don't know. Like he is such a, I don't know. He was like kind of hard to take serious at first because he's literally like standing there asleep, just waiting for them to show up. But yeah, we can get more into that when we actually get to meet him a little bit better. But I like the character design. Super tall.
Yeah, I forget how comically tall he is. It's just like...
I don't know, but I feel like in this world, like a lot of the really tall characters have been very powerful in the past. Like our other characters of large stature.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
They must eat their vegetables.
Yeah, or he spent a little too much time on this island. How long has he been sleeping there?
He's as tall as Tanji when he arrived, so he grew a bit.
Is he standing there in the previous page too? Like the panel right before Tanji walks into him? Is that him in front of the door in like tiny art? I think it is.
Oh yeah, he is.
I think so.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like hard to see, but yeah, he's there.
Has he been there the whole time? I thought you were a tree. You know how tall you have to be like, I thought you were a tree? Like,
especially in this place.
In this place, particularly. Yeah.
In the world of tall trees.
Have you guys been able to successfully sleep with sleep masks? I always try to do it sometimes because I'm like, it'll get things darker. Maybe it'll trick my brain. But like an hour into it, I just have to rip it off my head. It just feels wrong.
Yeah, I don't think I ever was able to sleep with one.
I feel like for me,
certainly not standing up, but what?
So I feel like for me, it has the opposite effect where it's like, okay, this one sense is cut off. Like my brain's so anxious that I need to try and hear more.
I can see
and
that,
so all the other senses get overloaded for me.
Fair.
I feel like usually like the light would come through the bottom. Maybe I just have like a good like
if you get a really good
but
one, but yeah,
probably not. Yeah,
they are. Yeah.
But I'm actually like going back through the pages here, and there's this page right after. I'm not sure if this is the same one that you talked about, Sean, but it's like after the Foxy crew says that they'll remember this. It cuts to the hut with Tanji and Sherry, and like the page before that, we can see Aokiji is already standing there.
Oh my god, he is.
So Tanji is just that oblivious that this guy was standing there because he was like right near the house.
I thought he was like the the door panel fabric thing this whole
Yeah.
time. I thought this man was just ornamental.
I mean,
Or
Tanjin
maybe,
hasn't really been home in 10 years, so things change. There's a man here now. That's just how it is.
Or it
Peggy
could be
Squatter's
because like
rights.
he's so much shorter that because the eyeline is where he doesn't look up, so he didn't like notice that there's a guy there.
You could
He
just
does
be
walk
walking
right
through like
into him.
Aokiji's legs half the time. Like,
Is there a draft in here? Sheesh.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of Luffy's art for the new Jolly Roger?
It belongs in a museum.
a masterwork. Yeah.
So are they just the Fox Pirates now? He forgot a Y.
He's got the Y.
There's no Y.
I like to
Not close
imagine
enough.
Fox. I like to imagine Foxy realized that halfway through the trip back, and they're like, "Son of a bitch! Like, we have to change my name now." Like,
That's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's the whiskers for me, honestly.
Yeah.
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 I do think he should have taken the sexy
It's
chick
like-
carpenter, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a choice. They could have taken the carpenter, and Luffy decides no.
the
we don't
fighting
want anybody on your crew.
carpenter, the top carpenter, or the sexy carpenter. I love that he has 3 different.
I do. I
love
think
that
Donovan's
reveal.
got a really cool design though. Like just like the nails in his mouth.
Yeah.
It's like a nice like extra victory loop. It's like no. Give me the symbol of everything you are. I'll make you a new one. I'll make you a new one,
Yeah.
and you'll like it.
Hey,
At
to
least
be
I think
fair,
you will.
he challenged Luffy, so it was his idea.
Oh yeah, totally.
So he
Mhm.
he deserved it.
100%.
I love the reveal of the drawing that Luffy does. And it's like Foxy saying like, Straw Hat, you're so like, I feel like he's about to say you're so like kind, you're so generous or something like that. Like letting
Yeah.
them keep the sail. And then they show the drawing and everyone's just like, that's horrible.
I'm so
Spoke
they
too
love
soon.
it.
They're so grateful.
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean, it does look like they're bowing, you know?
I think they're all
been
taking a page
humbled.
out of Foxy's book where he gets like dejected like anytime somebody says something
Oh,
like,
yeah.
bad about him.
Totally.
It's affected the whole crew now.
I had to Google scruples. I didn't know what scruples meant. Did you guys know what scruples meant?
I knew what scruples meant.
You have no scruples. That's a
Ask
great
me, like,
word.
hey,
I wish I
do I-
wish I knew what that was, and now I do. So I'm glad.
Do you want to give us a
Look, I-
definition?
It's just like no morals. Like no scruples would be
Yes.
like no morals.
Morals.
My English degree has to count for something.
You earned your
I guess-
scruples.
Exactly.
I don't know what it was that made me think of this chapter, but I do just love the fact that Fox's crew does legitimately like care about and respect him,
Hmm.
even though he's just a giant dirtbag.
But he's their dirtbag.
He has fun
Exactly.
though. They have a good time,
True.
seemingly. They just like go everywhere they have and host this like festival. The Davy back circus.
Yeah, they do know how to party.
Yeah.
They have a good time.
Except their
Could be
boobs.
worse.
They sell their cotton candy.
Oh, I didn't mention in the summary that when the match concludes, everyone like is cheering for Luffy, and then they realize that their boss is like sinking to the bottom of the ocean because he's a devil fruit user, and they all rush to like save him, and the entire like stands collapse as they're all like trying to jump and save their boss,
Yeah.
which is pretty hilarious.
Yeah. So like Cody was saying, they do have respect for the captain after all.
Yeah.
I think that was the moment, and I just totally forgotten that was
Yeah.
it. Thank you, Evan.
And on the next page, when Luffy comes to, Oda does this all the time, but I just still love seeing it. Like the reaction from every single crew member, all like lined up.
Hmm. Like a series of panels. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I love that it like keeps growing. So I just really appreciate it. Like everyone has such a in character reaction to whatever.
For sure. And I did find it hilarious, like in the next page, where Foxy offers his hand and like like Hamburg and Porsche are like laughing, and then Foxy tries to throw him over his shoulder, and Luffy just sits there like, what an idiot. Zoro's like, what an idiot.
Yep.
And then like Foxy hits his head like in the process. So yeah, just that was hilarious.
So good. And then he shakes it off, and the next man's like, "All right, back to business."
Yeah.
Like, pick your crew member.
He's got the bandages on his head. Yeah. He's gonna need some new ones. Okay, we good to move on?
Good to go.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
What happened to the afro? Did Foxy take it back?
I
think
imagine,
yeah.
It's in a box somewhere.
Back in the costume closet.
That's fair.
Property of the Foxy Pirates. They stole that fair and square.
It does belong to the shop. It does belong to them. That's fair. That's fair.
But I'm sure Foxy will use it next time.
Probably.
Or he'll take it away as an option so people don't hide mirror shards in there too.
Yeah.
Smart.
Okay, let's move on to Gidatsu's Unexpected Life on the Blue Sea, Volume 5. I've decided to become the boss of the Blue Sea. Gidatsu declares he will rule the Blue Sea as he makes an interesting choice for a seat.
Oh, he's in the barrel.
He's in the barrel. Yeah, he's like his. Yeah.
I did not realize that the first time. Oh my god. It's just
like every page is gonna be him doing something weird.
Yeah, for sure.
time, dude.
And Goro's just kind of like sitting there listening to him, like, "Yep, sure, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever you say." Yeah, this guy's real boss material. Okay, let's move on to chapter 319, Admiral Aokiji of the Navy Headquarters. Surprised that Rob is shocked to seeing Aokiji, Luffy asks if she knows him. Aokiji says they go way back. He assures them he's not here on official orders, he's just taking a stroll. Robin tells the others that he's one of the 3 Navy admirals, collectively known as the ultimate military force. The Strat's prepared to fight, but once again, Aokiji tries to calmly explain he's not here to pick a fight. Being tired from standing up, Aokiji decides to lay down, but Luffy is still ready to fight. The Admiral says he'll leave, but he overheard Tanji's situation and offers to help reunite him with his people. The Strats are skeptical, but Robin confirms he is capable of doing this. Tanji gathers up a cart with his belongings as they head to the edge of the island. Aokiji stands near the water as a giant sea monster jumps out. The others try to warn him, but it's not necessary as he freezes the ocean itself using the powers of his chili fruit. He says the ice will hold for about a week, which should be enough time for Tanji to make the journey to reunite with his tribe. Tanji thanks the Admiral and the Straw Hats for their help and bids them farewell. Just when it seems that the Admiral isn't such a bad guy after all, he tells Luffy that he's too much like his grandpa, wild and out of control. He initially had no intention of fighting them and merely wanted to confirm Robin's whereabouts, but he decided it's better if he kills him right now.
Uh-oh.
So that took a turn.
Yeah.
Boy.
Got real serious real quick.
Evan, what do you think of this revelation? I want to hear from him, but what do you think?
Oh, sorry. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah. You're the other one.
Yeah, no, so now we really do get to meet Aokiji, and you can tell by how blasé he is, how powerful he is, because he's got like no worries in the world. And then we see him use Ice Age, which is insanely powerful.
So yes, Evan, you were
it's gonna
correct.
hold for a week. Like, damn.
You were correct earlier. He was riding across the sea.
Yes,
He's turning it to ice as he goes.
Right. The bicycle. I thought
now,
so.
Now we know how he was doing it.
Right. Yeah, this is a pretty cool power. And I feel like we get to see it in full bore right off the bat, which is pretty cool. So
yeah, definitely a sheer display of force.
Yeah, for sure. But for a good cause. He's helping Tanjit and Sherry cross the ocean. So
yeah, that's pretty cool of him.
Yeah. Marines doing like nice things for people.
Which has something that is pointed out by
Pointed
Luffy
out.
at one point. Oh, right. Normally, we're the bad guys, the Marines.
yeah. Love that.
You don't
Great
have to listen to him.
realization.
He's a Marine.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that a good thing? I love it.
Yeah, isn't that a good thing?
Are we the baddies?
Also, we hear the first mention of Luffy's grandfather in this chapter.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's something we
We
haven't
don't really know much
been
about Luffy's
introduced to.
family, so this is kind of the first time.
Yeah, so we don't know exactly what Aokiji's relationship is with Luffy's grandfather, like how he even knows him.
hmm
So this
But
is
he
like
knows
the
him well
first
enough
time.
to see some similarities.
Yeah, so he's aware of his grandfather. Yeah, but to what capacity? I guess we'll have to find out.
Yep. I love how
Aokiji's-
defensive. Oh, go ahead, Cody.
I was just gonna say it's really cool that he's like, we're seeing like the upper echelon of the Marines.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, this is like one of the highest ranking people you can find in the Navy.
Yeah, we've only
Yeah.
seen one ranked higher, I think.
Yeah, which was
Captain Morgan. He's so great. He's so great.
He is so great. Goes without saying.
How could I forget? I thought you meant Fleet Admiral Sengoku, but you're correct.
But yes, did we see Sengoku? I don't even remember at this point. It's been a while since we
there's-
recorded.
That was the
It
goat,
was
right?
it was during Jaya.
Yep. Mm.
So yeah, we do find out the names of the 3 admirals. So there's only 3 of them. So we have Akainu, Aokiji, and Kizaru.
We have translations for them as well for what they
Mhm.
mean.
Did you want to give those, Sean?
Once I find the page, I can.
Okay. All right. So,
Aikainu, red dog, Aokiji, blue pheasant, and Kizaru, yellow monkey.
there you
I
go.
hope they can manage to get the temple's treasure. I hope
So,
Olmec can help them.
Legends of the Hidden Temple reference there for you 90s kids. Actually, I think they brought it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I know.
Well,
they
I don't know.
brought it back.
It's a weird thing. They made like a fictional movie. Like, this is a real story. I'm like, just give me the game show back, man.
And nobody could seem to figure out how to put that monkey together. For some reason, it was like the hardest puzzle in existence. But it's like the 3 pieces.
I used to feel that way, but you're like, imagine this. You are a 12-year-old. You are on a grand stage. You are in the middle. You are facing the opposite direction. I have more sympathy for them now than I did like 10 years ago.
I could imagine being like on TV, it's like, I forgot everything I know. How do I breathe? Like,
I was just accosted by a half-naked man who demanded he give me half a pendant, like 30 seconds ago. Like, now I have to put together like a structure in an opposite direction facing towards a fucking TV camera. I'll give him a head. Now, I don't sympathize with the ones who are like, I'm going to put the head first. I'm like, no, it's one thing if you can't wiggle the piece. They're like, come on, kid. That's the base? Come on. All right. I'm still bad, it seems like.
I still remember like 07, 08, like back when like discussion forums for like series and stuff were like starting to become a thing. People were like starting to talk about, okay, well, like red dog, yellow monkey, blue pheasant. It sounds like Momotaro, and like just like after seeing like this one dude, 3 silhouettes, just like pages and pages and pages of people like saying, okay, well, this part of the legend means like the yellow guy, he's probably gonna come in. Like, that's how like excited I was back then and now about Momotaro and One Piece together. Just like the sheer amount of theorizing that just happens from like one reference.
I mean, once you put a silhouette there, it's all over. Like the speculation game begins.
Like, we got the Oda silhouettes and the Oda lighting in the same panel. We were eating good this chapter.
But yeah, I mean, with all that being said, it does seem like a pretty big deal that they have an admiral here. Like the fact that like this is what he's doing at this time. I think it says something. Like he's saying he's not here on official business, and like he's just like he's not going to do anything. So he doesn't have any official orders. His motto in the Navy is "Lazy Justice."
My kind of
Lazy
justice.
justice.
But yeah, so he's here, kind of like of his own free will. But he just wanted to confirm Robin's whereabouts, supposedly. But then he seems to have a change of heart at the end of the chapter. We're like, you know what? Maybe it's better if I do take care of you right now.
Luffy has like a bunch of 180s in this chapter. I was just, hey, you don't have to listen to him. Wait, this guy says some pretty right on things. You know what? I kind of mess with you. Wait, you're gonna what? Hold on.
He's a bad guy. Oh wait, no, he's a good guy. Oh, wait, he's a bad guy.
Oh, no, he's a bad guy again. Oh.
Wait, we're the bad guys? He's the bad guy? What?
Meanwhile, Robin is just continuously shitting herself, and I'm like,
Yeah.
can somebody help her? Can somebody help her up? Like, come on.
Please.
Yeah, only Robin really seems to have like a grasp of like how serious it is that this guy is here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the equivalent of like I've just like played a game of pickup basketball for like $100 or something with some friends, and then like the head of the CIA comes by and is like, "Hey, well, how's it going?" I'm like, "What?"
Man, I do love like we had like just like this little breather arc of the Davy backfight before being like, you want world building? You want stakes? Here you go.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so true. It kind of just came out of nowhere.
Like if they just fought God and then went to this, I feel like it would have had like the same effect, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it was like a little bit of a breather to like kind of give us like a chance to catch our breath a little, and then it's like shooting right back up again. Like the danger's just like real here.
Choo choo! Here comes the plot train.
Trains.
Well, yeah, we'll get there.
But real quick
We got
before we do
another-
move on. Oh, sorry, Evan, you had something?
I was going to say we have another Logia type.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the chili fruit.
Chili chili.
But yeah, then I was gonna say like there was like that double page spread where you can see like the ocean itself is just like frozen over, which is, and then including the sea monster. But like there's like 2 pages dedicated to it. You can just see like the sheer scale of like how far his powers extend.
Pretty wild. And it must have consumed enough ocean for him to, because he's got to cross 3 gaps,
Yeah.
3 island gaps he has to cross, and he's like, "Yeah, you're good. You'll be good for a week.
Yeah.
Just go for it, buddy." Like, damn, it's a lot of that.
And then the other thing I wanted to mention is I just love like that panel where it shows like Aokiji like covered in the ice, where Robin says this is the power of a admiral from Navy headquarters. He's just got like the stance, he's kind of hunched over, like covered in ice, and like you can see like the frozen air. What do you call like
The vapor?
like yeah, like a
Like,
vapor
it's
kind of? Yeah.
Kinda...
I just don't
It's
have a
like-
word for it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful panel though.
That's really cool.
Very cool.
I also love how like when we see the after effects as after Tone just like, am I dreaming? And it's like that secondary shot, like just like the little like glistening of the ice there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like it's really pretty, even though it's like kind of terrifying at the same time.
All right, you guys ready to move on?
Ready?
Ready.
Okay, Gadatsu's Unexpected Life on the Blue Sea, Volume 6. Don't forget to breathe when you spend the day digging, Master Gadatsu. Gadatsu helps Goro dig some holes.
He's got to bite his lip, man.
Rough stuff.
Yeah, so one thing I noticed, so Evan, you had pointed out on Goro's shirt how it matches like the trees, like the bendy trees in the back.
Yep.
I'm also wondering if it's because it looks like a hot spring, so it looks like maybe like a pool of water with like the steam coming out.
Hmm.
So I wonder if that's like
think
also
so.
what the shirt is supposed to be, and maybe the trees are meant to emulate that as well. So it's just an alternative thought to maybe the design there.
That checks out.
Okay, let's move on. We'll get Evan's summary for the next chapter.
All right, chapter 320, Ultimate Military Force. Admiral Aokiji considers the Straw Hats to be a threat and admits a large factor in that assessment is based on the presence of Robin. Aokiji says Robin has a history of using and betraying the people around her, and provides proof saying every organization Robin has been associated with to date has fallen. Robin does not take kindly to these accusations and launches an attack, restraining him. Aokiji morphs into ice to evade Robin's grasp and creates an ice saber to counter. But his blade is met with steel as Zoro joins the fight. Sanji then enters the fray, kicking the saber and disarming Aokiji, who managed to grab hold of Sanji's leg and Zoro's arm. Seeing an opening, Luffy launches a Gum Gum bullet, landing squarely on Aokiji's gut. With all three Straw Hats now touching Aokiji, he launches his counterattack, freezing his opponents with Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji incapacitated. Aokiji lunges at Robin, freezing her whole body. Robin, now an ice sculpture and vulnerable to becoming shattered, is defenseless as Aokiji goes for the finishing blow. But just in the nick of time, Luffy grabs her and hands her off to Usopp, telling them to retreat to the ship and save Robin. As Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji stand to face off against Aokiji, Luffy calls off his comrades, telling them he will face Aokiji alone. Bold move.
Wow.
Wow.
It's going down.
It's heating up. Or cooling down. Cooling down in this situation.
Just on this first page, I feel like Oda's line work is so clean here. And it's just like even like
Yeah.
these little specks like in the background. I feel like they just do so much to add that, hey, this is just serious business right now. Like the
You have
visual version
everyone
that
in
you
the
can-
frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Feels like you can hear a pin drop.
Yeah, so I mean, the Straw Hats have gotten the attention of a Navy admiral, and he sees him as a potential threat. So he's thinking maybe it's better to like take care of them now before they become a bigger problem in the future. But he says that Robin in particular is the reason why it seems that they're so dangerous.
Yeah, and I feel like for the readers, like that statement does hold some merit, because the only interaction we've seen Robin have with any other crew or like comrades was Crocodile, and we know that she was using Crocodile the whole time. So like that's kind of our only evidence as readers to go off of, you know.
Yeah. And so with Crocodile, she was pretty much ready to like turn on him if she needed to. Like she had that like ready to go. Like she was prepared if things went south for her. She could defend herself against Crocodile. So it makes you wonder, does she have like a contingency plan for the Straw Hats too? If she needs to kind of like like switch sides or whatever. So it makes you like wonder like what Robin's thinking here. Because it seems like she's had a pretty consistent track record of being like the only survivor of all the organizations that she's been a part of. So
I still want to believe she's a good person. I think I trust Luffy's judgment of character.
That's fair. I mean, Luffy's had good judgment in the past, but yeah, we don't know if that's gonna come back to bite him. He doesn't really know Robin that well, so we want to believe that Robin is a good person. But yeah, we don't really know what her intentions are here. And like we talked about before too, like she doesn't seem to be fully committing to the crew. Like we said, like she doesn't use anybody's names. She just calls them by the role that they are on the crew.
It's true. She definitely keeps her distance.
Yeah.
I found it really interesting this chapter that the first person to specifically defend Robin was Zoro, who has been the least trusting of her this entire time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Zoro.
Yeah,
Good for him. Yeah, he's
what a
good.
nice guy.
Nice fella.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
do love seeing
say-
the riled up when, like, in defense of Robin,
Mm-hmm.
as we've seen for the past couple chapters.
I
Like
think
right after hearing the thing that he's been like, "Hey, like you're joining us like this just in a rogue work. That's kind of sus."
Yeah,
As soon as someone
that's
else
true.
says, he's like, "No, that's BS. No, we're
No.
I think- I
Only
think
can-
Zoro's intentions are more to be loyal to Luffy because Luffy
Mhm.
picked her to be on the crew, and he's like, well, if I'm gonna stand by Luffy's decision, if Luffy says she's on the crew, then I'll accept it. So I think it's I think that might be his driving factor there.
Maybe, yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
Then Sanji jumps in too.
Of course.
Sanji's also
of course.
quick. He's probably just mad that Zoro got there first. But it's pretty cool how Aokiji grabs like the blades of grass, he throws it in the air and just freezes it, makes a sword out of it.
Yeah, it's a cool move.
And just that scene of him like reforming himself out of the ice.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I know we've had like some neat like Logia recoveries with like Crocodile and
Mm.
Elba. Like this one, it's like kind of brutal.
Yeah, because it does look like he's kind of forming out of like nothing.
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
It does look pretty brutal too, like the way like he gets snapped in half by Robin. Like he gets like
Mhm.
broken to shards, and he reforms himself. So
It's rough.
the Chopper's like, "Whoa, he's dead."
Thanks for the update, Chopper.
That's his official doctor's
Yes, that's your official
Doctor's
diagnosis.
diagnosis. It's the expert
That bitch is
opinion.
dead.
Yeah, Zoro sees a saber. He's like, "It's me. That's me. That's my cue."
That's why he jumped in. He
I'm
saw
on
a
it.
sword.
He just saw a sword and was like, "Oh, my turn."
I take like everything he says. He doesn't care about Robin. He doesn't care about Luffy. He just wants to fight. He just wants sword.
Sword.
battle. I'll be the strongest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then the way the Robin gets frozen over is like
Mhm.
devastating.
Oh, jeez. Not good.
You can see like the look of horror in her face as she just like freezes over.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Joel.
This whole chapter, her expressions are just. Sean, I'm sorry, but like they're just like heartbreaking. Like,
No, I agree.
Yeah.
just like
absolutely.
before she does the train to flues, like just her eyes. Oh my god, she's broken. I feel so bad.
Mhm.
Look, I'm sure she hasn't had a terrible tragic backstory. This is all a misunderstanding.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, it's just a series of unfortunate events. Oh, I don't know why. But I do love that Luffy. His like the one thing he says is like, "We don't care about the past."
Mm-hmm.
Great line.
Yep.
For sure. And then like the panel of Aokiji like winding up the punch, being like, "Oh, I could just punch her right here," and Luffy has to like jump in and like barely like moves Robin out of the way in time. And then it's like
It's
a game of
cold,
like
man.
cold
So
potato.
And then cold potato, yeah.
So it's kind of like all hands on deck kind of situation. It's like everybody like, let's get Robin out of here. Luffy's like, all right, it's up to you and me. We're gonna fight right now. And Usopp too. Usopp has a great heroic moment where like Aokiji's about to stomp on Robin's face while Luffy's like holding her, and Usopp runs and grabs Robin out of Luffy's hands, and then Aokiji stomps Luffy. But Usopp
Mhm.
managed to get Robin out of the way in time.
Close call. I do love the last page of this chapter with the face off of Luffy and Aokiji.
Mm-hmm. For sure. With like the frozen hand.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? All right, let's move on. Gadatsu's Unexpected Life on the Blue Sea, Volume 7. You have to eat with your mouth on the day of digging, Master Gadatsu. They take a lunch break, but Gadatsu seems to struggle to figure out how to eat properly.
How did this man survive to adulthood? Did I don't.
For context, this guy is putting a sandwich in his ear.
Like, how did he not fall off a
Oof.
cliff or like forget to breathe for an entire day and just die? Like, I don't.
He's a unique one. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I guess so.
The birds are back.
Oh. I love them.
I hope that comes to be something. I hope something happens with the birds.
Maybe they're like the ones guiding him.
Yeah,
Like, trying
maybe.
to be like, yeah, you got to eat with your mouth, dude. Okay, moving on. Chapter 321, One-on-One. Chopper and Usopp tend to Robin back on the Mary as they pour water on her in the shower. It seems to help as she begins to thaw. The rest of the crew arrives back at the Mary, minus Luffy. Zoro and Sanji are eager to get back to help their captain, so they jump in the water to try to help the ice melt from their bodies. Usopp scolds them for leaving Luffy behind, but they say he ordered a one-on-one fight, so they had to honor it. Luffy fights the Admiral, but his body is now partially covered in ice. Luffy sends him flying into the air and tries to attack with a Gum Gum Storm, but it proves to be useless. Aokiji is not affected and proceeds to freeze Luffy's entire body. He decides to honor his one-on-one agreement with Luffy, which means he can't go after the rest of his crew. He warns Luffy that's a mistake to keep Nico Robin on board his ship. Instead of finishing Luffy off, he decides to leave his frozen body intact as a favor for taking down Crocodile. He realizes their next destination must be Water 7, remarks they're getting close to Navy headquarters as he takes off on his bike. Back on the Mary, Chopper is happy to report that both Robin and Luffy's hearts are beating, so they will be okay. Usopp worries that they'll be hunted down by more powerful people like Aokiji. The crew try to get some well-earned rest, but Robin seems unable to sleep as her thoughts keep her up at night. So another tense fight here. One that Luffy does not win.
Nope. I thought it was going to end really bad when they show like Aokiji like kicking through something. I'm like, what is he kicking through? Looked like he was about to kick Luffy in the face, and that can't be. That's not Luffy's head shattering. You see him in the You see him in the next panel.
So it was a little fake out, a little misdirect.
Yeah, a little misdirect.
But yeah, the fact that Luffy gets completely frozen over though is pretty crazy.
Not good.
Nope.
I mean, this is another fight we can unequivocally say he has lost.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big time. So yeah, it looks like he's not quite up to the level of a Navy Admiral.
Oh. Even tried the movie he beat Crocodile with.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. Does anyone else think Aokiji's like ice time just like, I know he's like freezing someone potentially to death, but it kind of looks like he's giving him a hug.
Yeah.
Same movie did to Robin too. He gave Robin a hug. Hug of death.
Hug of death.
So in order to freeze something, it seems like he needs to make physical contact with it.
Definitely, because he waited when Luffy first attacked, so he was holding both Sanji and Zoro, and then waited for Luffy to touch him, and then froze all three of them at once while they're all like touching his body. So
yeah,
put his hand in the water.
Right, exactly. Had to touch the water, and then he didn't make an ice sword out of thin air. He had to freeze the blades of grass.
Right.
So he needed like some kind of like base like material to freeze over. So I think that's a little interesting detail here that I'm now noticing. But that's why he would have to hug them. I mean, I guess like he could maybe like just put his like palm on them, but I think like the hug is probably harder to get out of.
Yeah.
So that gives him time to like allow the freezing effect to take over, instead maybe just like I just froze like your shoulder or something.
The depictions of the frozen, like the ice battle and like the frozen bodies look so good.
Yeah.
Like it really, like, you can really see the ice. I think it's really well drawn.
Yeah, agreed.
And that ice time shot is so good. Like the midair hug.
Yeah.
The midair hug.
Midair hug.
Just give him the cold shoulder.
Ooh, like that. He does at the end too when he just walks away. What did he mean when he said, "Oh, never mind about Smoker's silly message"?
Sounds like Smoker was trying to get a message to Luffy, and then he had frozen Luffy before he thought to mention it. And he's like, never mind. It's not important.
Gotcha. This wasn't a previously mentioned message that we know about. It was just like,
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we have no idea what the message is as a reader.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so. I just wanted to make sure. I wasn't
Right.
missing something there. It's like, should I know about this?
It seems like when he mentions crocodile, he says like Luffy took down crocodile, so you guys did us a favor. So I think that reminded him like about the message that Smoker had left for him, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I missed that window. I'm not gonna stick around and let you unfreeze to tell you the message, so I'm out."
Yeah,
He's out.
Take my bicycle and leave. We see it in action here. We see them using the bike.
Sonate.
Yep.
What a cool application of his powers.
Definitely.
Like this guy who's just, we see standing up sleeping with his little mask on, and then almost kills the entire crew. Just goes ding ding back to headquarters. Like, what a great juxtaposition.
Roll credits.
Yeah.
I love Aokiji. I love Aokiji for that.
Yeah, like what an introduction to this character.
Yeah.
I also just love, if it's okay for me to go on like a slightly different subject, I just love the crew dynamics in this chapter too. Like I don't know, the fact that Zoro is freaking out. Specifically, the guy who like didn't care about, it was like, I'll cut my legs off. No, John, we need to get this. We need to get back to Luffy now. This is bad.
Right.
And Usopp being the one to like tell Chopper to stop panicking.
Yeah.
Like everything's just so in flux with this. Like I feel like as a crew, this is like, they haven't run in like a lot of situations like this as a unit.
Well, Zoro, again, I think that loyalty to his captain is like, like he's like, I'm letting my captain down if I let him die here. Like it's my job to make sure that nothing happens to my captain.
Yeah.
So I think he's like feeling like the weight of that on himself. And Sanji's kind of getting the same boat. He's like, I'm strong enough to help out too. I gotta go. I can't let Zoro like one up me here. I gotta make sure I'm helping my captain too.
True. I felt really bad for Usopp. He's like, all I did was run around a lot. But like, if you did run around a lot, Robin would have made it back to the ship, homie.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You did good. You did good.
You did good.
But then Usopp is even calling them cowards for running.
Oh. When was that?
So when Sanji says it was captain's orders, that's why they left him. And Usopp says, even if the captain ordered it, how could you? You're cowards. How could you?
Oh yeah, for leaving. Yep.
So even coming from Usopp, yeah.
Because like that's when he's not a coward when it's other people. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Who said prepare for the worst? Was it Zoro? Yeah.
Were you seeing that?
Right before it cuts back to Luffy's fight, Zoro says, "Cut it out. This isn't a time or place. Just be prepared for the worst."
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is a crucial time for the crew. Yeah, it was like what Cody was saying. I'm not used to them being this. Like it's very serious. Like you were saying, like it's very serious. They're planning for worst case scenario.
Because I think they realized like that they don't have a chance against this guy.
Yeah.
I like what Joel's
out of their depth. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if he's that back to what Joel was saying about like, oh, the worst, Luffy biting it. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, Joel.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on this one?
I'm ready to thaw.
Yeah. Luckily, by the end of the chapter, like it seems like everybody is like okay. It was scary, but you know, Aokiji seems to not have been there to kill them after all. Like he honored the deal. Like he showed that he could have, but he was true to his word and he let them go.
That's pretty cool.
Then he says off to Water 7, City of Water, next destination. And he also mentions that they'll be close to headquarters.
Yeah. A little bit of information there.
A little bit of information.
Okay, let's move on to Gadatsu's Unexpected Life on the Blue Sea, Volume 8. Don't forget to blink when you dig, Master Gadatsu. They two continue to dig holes as Gadatsu seems to struggle to blink.
It's always something with
don't
this guy.
understand.
It's always something.
I'm seeing a trend here. All right, let's get Evan's summary for the next chapter.
Chapter 322, Puffing Tom. The Straw Hats drop anchor for some well-deserved R&R as Luffy and Robin thaw out. After 4 days, the crew is back to full strength when they spot something strange in the water. Upon closer inspection, it turns out to be a giant frog doing the front crawl. So naturally, the captain orders them to pursue it, having barbecued frog legs in mind. Nami spots the frog's destination, a lighthouse, and at the same time, they start to notice a strange sound. All of a sudden, the ship starts to run aground, and Luffy spots the source of the sound. It's a train. Yes, you heard me right, a train. A steam-powered locomotive in the middle of the ocean comes roaring past the merry-go, narrowly missing the ship, but not missing the giant frog, sending it flying into the sky. The Straw Hats stare in shock as the train passes them by. They notice people at the lighthouse and were introduced to Kokoro, station master of Shift Station, her granddaughter Chimney, and their cat, or rabbit, Gambi. Chimney explains that the train has a steam-powered engine that rotates paddles over the track that runs just below the surface of the water. She also explains the giant frog, whose name is Yokozuna, who is testing his strength against the train again, which garners Luffy's respect. Kokoro then explains the train had just come from Water 7, known as the City of Water, which is known for its shipbuilding and is the destination of their log pose. Luffy decides this will be the perfect place to find themselves a carpenter to join their crew.
All right, so we are now moving into the next arc. It's our first introduction to the Puffing Tom.
Did not see that coming.
Yeah, so what were your thoughts on this train on the water?
Pretty cool. It reminded me of Spirited Away a little bit with like the train
A little bit, yeah.
on the water. But yeah, this was a really fun chapter. I always love the like fun little in-between moments where we kind of get the crew just like hanging out on the ship, you know, just the shenanigans that they get into.
Yeah.
Like Luffy impersonating himself when he was frozen, getting laughs out of Usopp and Chopper. It was pretty hilarious. Sanji trying to swoon Nami with food. I thought this was a really funny panel because he gives her this dish and she says it's delicious and he screams joy and there's like a splash in front of him, which I want to say is blood coming from his nose and hitting the ocean in front of him. Because in the next shot he's got like clots in his nose. Because I was trying to think what that could be. You know the panel I'm talking about?
With okay, so the one where it says
where he yells joy.
Okay.
Anyways, that's how I interpreted it. And Zoro calls him Dart Boy, which he then explains because he was saying his eyebrows looked like targets for a dartboard, like a dartboard target.
And that's how'd you call him, Cactus Head?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Good stuff. Yeah, I love those like little moments in between the arcs.
I'm gonna butcher this, but Pompeye. I did not take French. What exactly is that? I didn't look it up.
I think it's
just something with potatoes. I'm sure, but
is it paella?
Oh,
she says something about potatoes.
Is that how you spell paella?
Shoestring potatoes. It's Paille.
Ooh, like little thin little fries. Oh,
Oh yeah, it's yeah. Actually, I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
sorry, I just got hungry and then Sanji mentioned his food, and I'm like, I want to know more about
Sounds
this. Yeah. Did anyone else think that Yokozuna was kind of giving Laboon vibes?
I was just about to say he's like, I want those
Mhm.
two to meet. Like,
Yeah.
he's even got the scars.
They would be
like,
friends. Yeah,
They
for
would be
sure.
friends. Like,
They'd get along.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but yeah, definitely see that.
I think the page after we get like a 2-page shot of the train like narrowly missing the merry-go, and then the next page we get like everyone's reactions, which is so good. And Chopper's tongue is like it's hilarious. It's like taking up the entire cell. It's so good. His eyes are like popping out of his head.
The way Oda does like like the lines that take up like the entire page, like slanted, like radially, however you want to describe it. I found like when I was rereading like the first couple volumes, I was like, I don't know, they didn't do it for me the way they used to. It just felt like I felt like he kind of like relied on it a lot in like the earlier volumes, but this feels like a really good example of it. I don't know, it just feels it works for me in this one. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just think they're neat.
The slanted
I
panels.
agree.
Like within the like the ones that go across, like but like radially in toward a certain point. I feel like Oda uses that like a lot to draw emphasis to something or to like establish stakes in a panel.
Okay, so you're talking about the line work in the panel itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, I this particular instance of it, I think, is like my favorite so far.
Yeah, I mean, this like it gives like the impression of like the wind blowing, like it basically being like knocked away by like this train just like flying right past them. So, but like I also love that like the double page spread of the Puffing Tom, like the page before that. It just takes up the whole panel, and then the Mary goes flying.
Yeah.
And like how Nami is like, how is this like working? Like a vessel shaped like that could never sail on the ocean. So Nami knows like something's weird about this like train. But I remember being like really confused by this train at first, like my first time through the series, and I thought it was like such a really cool concept to see like this train like on the water. And I like the way that they explain it here. But yeah, I just think that's such like a fun idea to have.
Yeah, I agree. It's unexpected, but once you see it, like this is really cool. Like of course they'd have a train that runs from island to island. This is One Piece. Expect the unexpected.
I like Kokoro.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
We get another example of, at this time of the series at least, Oda's two ways of drawing women: beautiful supermodels or horrifying monsters. There's no in between. So, or little girls, obviously too. But like in terms of adult women, there's two kinds. But yes, otherwise is a great chapter. I love like I was gonna say there's huge Laboon vibes with Yokozuna. He wants to test his strength. I love that. It's just very funny.
Test your might.
Test your might. Auto combat.
And just Luffy's reversal. Oh, I'm not doing anything like with that much determination. No, never mind. I've changed my mind. What a guy. Oda didn't have to like. I just love the fact that it was like going into like the individual stops that this one train makes.
Yeah,
it's just so nice that he's giving us all these little details.
Yeah, it definitely helps with like fleshing out the world.
I keep thinking that Nami's bathing suit is like the Union Jack, but no, it's just like
dude, same.
Yeah.
I was getting the same vibe. Same vibe.
I do like the introduction to Gombe. How Chimney says, "This is my cat, Gombe," and like the text box says, "Actually a rabbit," and then but he
Yeah.
still meows.
It meows.
It's like I'm just gonna go with it. I'm not gonna correct her. Yeah, so some fun new characters here.
Nice
And
base
maybe more new characters to come. And, like Luffy's like looking for a carpenter, which is exciting. I think, you know, hunting for a new crew member is an exciting mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to the perfect place because Kokoro tells them that the next city is Water 7, and it's a bustling city known for its shipbuilding industry. The technology there is the best in the world. So, yeah, sounds like a good place to look.
It is convenient.
Shipwrights all gathered in one place.
It is convenient in like
perfect.
a fun way that like I just accept as part of the story conceit, but of just like
Mhm.
Luffy, I need a cook. Welcome to a famous, wonderful island restaurant. I need a doctor. Welcome to an island famous for its 100 doctors. I need a shipbuilder. Oh, don't worry, we're about to hit Carpenterville. Like it's like okay. One time I want Luffy to be like, well, I need a musician. Well, we got Dave. He plays the banjo. Like otherwise,
Cool
you're not gonna
record
find
store,
much,
my guy.
right?
Like,
Yeah.
You're in luck. We're going to Mirabal Island. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that, but that's a good point. There seems to be that trend where it's like, oh, we conveniently find this place that's like good
That's
for
famous
like
for the
finding
thing we
that
need.
type of crew member. And they just had an opportunity to get a carpenter and they turned it down. So like,
Yeah.
it's like good thing he didn't commit to the last one. Like, it's like you go through the store and it's like sometimes you're like you don't buy the first thing that you see. It's like let me look around and shop my options first before I commit.
Yeah.
Let me get the right
play the
one.
field. Yeah.
All right, are we ready to move on?
Ready.
Yeah.
Ready.
Okay. Gadatsu's Unexpected Life on the Blue Sea, Volume 9. You must bathe after digging so many holes, Master Gadatsu. The two men prepare a hot bath after a long day of digging holes.
Cowboy hot tub. Gadatsu is wearing his towel on his head and is naked.
Oh, I didn't see that. I was like, oh, I think he's actually doing it right this time. And he's still doing something wrong. So thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
And the fact this hair is still standing up and therefore like not wet at all.
We can hold the towel up because it's still intact.
Oh, boy.
Perfection. He's so silly.
Okay, let's move on. Oh, do you have anything else?
No, I answered my own question by reading. Crazy.
Okay, let's move on. Chapter 323, The City of Water, Water 7. Kokoro hands the Straw Hats a map to help them at Water 7 and gives them a letter of introduction for when they arrive in the city to help them get their ship fixed. She warns them to watch out for government people and they head out. The crew debates as to what kind of person they should look for in their new carpenter crewmate, as Nami realizes the map that was given to them is useless. Usopp hugs the mast of the ship, saying the steel plates are signs of the adventures that they have been on, and the crew looks forward to getting her fixed up with some upgrades. They approach the island and notice it's an entire city that's on the water. They try to figure out which port they should dock at, but they are directed to the shore on the other side of the island by the locals, who don't seem too bothered to see pirates. Nami says that they need to meet someone named Iceberg to give the letter of introduction to, and they'll need to get the treasure exchanged for cash. Luffy, Nami, and Usopp decide to head into town. Over at Dock 1, a pirate who recently had his ship fixed has decided he doesn't want to pay for the work that was done after all. He quickly learns this is a mistake, as the shipwrights of the Galley Law Company make swift work of him. All right, so we get our introduction to the new city of Water 7. We get like a brief sense of like what kind of place they're getting into. So thoughts on this one?
Well, we had fighting cooks. Now we got fighting carpenters.
Yeah, these guys look badass. I not want to mess with these guys.
So they're multi-talented.
Yeah.
They really went all out with the double page spreads this chapter.
Yeah, some good ones.
Yeah. Especially that one of just like all the carpenters.
It's like their album cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just love how like Oda takes this whole issue of like, okay, they want to get a ship right, but they're going to a place that has like a generally like safe society. But how do they? Okay, this could be a problem. But instead of Oda having to like find like a convoluted way to like make them fit in, he just says, okay, no, that is kind of strange that they're doing this. Well, what if we just make everyone really strong? Yeah. He's like, no, we don't have to go around it. We can just go through it. The issue. I don't know. It's just, it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see example right off the bat, like he quickly establishes that they can hold their own, so they're not gonna be strung down by pirates because pirates need ships too, so they're like, we're gonna help pirates like get their ships, like that's business, like what they do with the ships afterwards, that's up to them, but like we're gonna make the ships, but like they're not gonna be like bullied by these pirates, like they're not gonna be able to make a living if they make all these ships for free and just have them be like attacked by pirates all the time. So like we see like firsthand. It's like, all right, well, they got this down, so they're fine.
Yeah. It's just one of those things I really like about Oda as a writer. The fact that he just anytime there would be a problem, he's like, no, let me figure out why and how this I can like use this as a way to like explore the setting itself. And
yeah,
it just seems like one of his strengths.
And we see from the beginning here as well is like the locals are just used to the pirates coming in, so they're not like scared. Oh, pirates are here. Oh no, we should all hide. Like, oh, it's just another pirate crew. They're just doing their thing. Like, no, you gotta go.
You want to go around
side.
that? Yeah.
You go to the pirate parking. This is the legitimate people parking. You go to the other side.
Usopp's like, it took me years to build up a Boy Who Cried Wolf reputation. You guys just don't give a shit from the start. Man, I'm glad I wasn't born here. Jeez.
Evan, what are your thoughts? Oh, I was gonna ask what you thought about the first couple characters we're seeing here, but no, it's pretty early in their introductions.
Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about the first look at Water 7, the city. This is kind of our first time seeing this like massive fountain in the middle, all these different like ports. You can kind of see like water flowing down from the fountain, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
big cranes. It's just, and it's also massive. It's just like a massive island, seemingly.
Yeah, you can see like the buildings kind of like going down like at an angle, like to go like in the shape of the island itself. Like it says like a giant water fountain. Mm-hmm. So like all of the buildings are like angled and built in a way to allow like the houses to be built on like the hill, and it keeps like the shape and like the water's all to float down. So I think it's a really cool looking design.
Yeah, it's so cool, and we get some like shots of like the canals. It feels almost kind of like Venice, in a way, and it's so cool just seeing all the worlds that we've seen so far in the Grand Line with like, I feel like we've seen all the extremes. We've seen like desert islands, we've seen winter islands, we've seen sky islands. Now we're seeing like a water island. It's so cool, like seeing how different all of these worlds are and how much like character you can put into each of these different cities and like cultures, and like you were saying with these people, like they're very stylized. They have like a really cool look. Because it's like you said, it's kind of like Baratier all over again, where it's like these people who have these very practical jobs, but they're working on the Grand Line, so they're dealing with, it's like high stakes. They're dealing with pirates on a regular basis. That's like their main form of business. So like they got to be able to handle themselves in shady situations because they're dealing with shady people all the time.
Yeah.
And so you have these super powered cooks, and now we got some super powered craftsmen, which I'm really excited to dive into these characters. I do like the character design a lot.
Yeah, a lot of cool like unique designs already right off the bat. And we
they have like all their craftsman tools and stuff.
Sorry, Ashron, you were saying?
The guy with the nose. He's giving Usopp a run for his money.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
That's a nose, and we've seen noses.
We've seen noses. We know noses.
I want the guy with the cigar and the goggles. I want his jacket.
Yeah, that's a sweet
It's
jacket.
just it's sick.
I'm with
It's
you
pretty
on that.
sick. Yeah.
I thought they all have like tools like hanging around their waists or carrying different like tools.
And
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy's got a gun.
Yeah.
This guy's got a
I'm sure-
gun.
I'm sure that's a useful tool for shipbuilding.
Big gun for a big dude.
Have you seen that panel of Hellboy and like the monkey? Like, that monkey's got a gun. And it just like shoots so many shit. It's great.
I know Breaking Bad came after this was written. But does anyone else get a Walter White vibe from Gun Guy?
Oh, I can see it.
I can see it. I can see it.
Here he broke bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we do get an introduction briefly. We see Mr. Iceberg for the first time. He's got like a little pet mouse in his pocket.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the guy that Kokoro said to go meet. Speaking of which, she gave like Nami the map. And it's just like a picture. It looks like a 5-year-old drew. It's like a big like hill. It says water 7, and there's like an arrow just pointing to like one side. It says around here. So there's no details on this map.
I also love in the very next panel, there's a drawing that Luffy did of what his ideal carpenter would look like. And like I don't know if Oda actually draws these or not. Like I just love his Luffy drawings. They're like so childish.
Yeah. No, I'm sure he
and
does.
the Kokoro drawing as well. Like so good.
Yeah, Luffy's like, so we're looking for a guy like this, and it says like 5 meters.
This monstrosity.
Yeah.
Usopp says, if I saw a guy like that, I'd run away.
I feel like if Luffy had like just drawn that 5 minutes before Coco could be like, oh, I know exactly who you want to recruit.
Yeah, I got just a guy.
Yeah.
Looks like Mr. Iceberg a little bit.
Could be. Maybe Luffy had a little foresight there.
Does have some stripes. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right? The lips.
Yeah.
The hair.
Mm-hmm. The swoop.
Yeah, the more I look at it, the more it's there.
And Luffy still talk about adding a bronze statue to the ship.
Yep.
He's really decided that's what they're gonna do with it. So
wasn't it like a lion in his last the last iteration when he wanted a statue? It was
the
like
statue. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a big like bronze lion on the front.
Yeah, so I think he has a good idea in mind what he wants. And then I also like this panel too. There's another panel of Robin. She doesn't say anything, but she's just sitting there with like a smile on her face and just kind of enjoying the antics of the crew around her.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So she just generally seems like she's having like a pleasant time. Like she's just enjoying like the their company, you know.
It's nice.
Little adventure they're on.
Yeah, she definitely seems entertained by the crew, if nothing else.
Okay. Anything else in this one?
Let's meet these craftsmen more properly.
The Galila Company.
All right. So before we get there, Gadatsu's Unexpected Life on the Blue Sea, Volume 10. Stand on the ground while you dig, Master Gadatsu. Gadatsu seems to be struggling on how to dig properly with his pickaxe while standing on the wall.
Yeah.
He's taking some interesting decisions to do this here, but
I don't know if y'all still talk about the SBS much on here, but I am a big fan of these potential other looks Luffy could have had for the fight with Foxy.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Greaser Luffy, that's a vibe.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And there's like a Sailor Moon reference with one of the
Mhm.
wigs. Yeah, we talked about the SPS if there's something that like stands out to us.
Where?
but sometimes like there's not really too much worth mentioning, but sometimes there's some like nuggets in there, you know.
Totally.
Can only talk about being hijacked so many times.
But I also wanted to mention that Goro has an exclamation mark that looks like the swirls on his shirt. So we've seen like in the past like cover stories where the exclamation marks tend to be representative of something unique to them. So like he's doing that here. So just wanted to point that out.
Mm.
I didn't even notice that. That's a good one. I just hope it pays off. I hope we get an answer to these squiggles. What the squiggles mean.
Oh, the pickaxe too. Yeah. Wowie.
All right, let's get Evan's summary for the next chapter.
All right. Chapter 324, Adventures in the City on the Water. Luffy, Nami, and Usopp set off into Water 7 with a wagon full of treasure in tow. As they enter the town, they pass through a rental bull shop, which turns out is the most efficient form of transportation throughout Water 7. A Yagara bull is a horse-like street creature that is saddled with a small boat that seats 2 people. They rent 2 Yagara bulls and begin to explore Water 7. After a brief tour, where they discover the city is connected by a series of canals that can run both up and downhill, they arrive at the shopping area. Luffy samples some of the local cuisine, and Nami notices that some of the residents are wearing masks. They make their way to the Watergate elevator, which works like a canal lock, and will take them to Shipbuilding Island. Outside the elevator, they arrive at Water 7's main street, home of the world's best shipbuilding center. The city surrounds a massive multi-tiered fountain, which is a sight to behold. Meanwhile, on the merry-go, Zoro informs Sanji that Robin and Chopper left to do some shopping. Sanji grows impatient and decides to do some shopping himself, leaving Zoro alone to guard the ship, aka take a nap. Soon thereafter, Zoro's nap is interrupted as intruders board the ship.
All right.
The bull knew what Luffy wanted in his heart. Meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that in common. Yeah, this is a really cool introduction to the city. Kind of like the inner
For sure.
workings of how people get around, how the city functions. It's pretty cool. These bulls are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like little like sea monsters, like little like Loch Ness sea monsters.
Yeah, I do love when Oda takes the time to like introduce us like the concepts and like the mechanics of like the new place that they're in and the unique like identity and the factors of like how the stuff works.
Mm-hmm.
So I always enjoy like that and like how like it shows that Oda put like thought into like how these things work and like what the logistics are, and like he gives us like a rundown of like how it works to kind of give you like a good sense for like what we're looking at here.
Helps when you have Luffy as the protagonist who walks in and has no idea what anything is, so he needs everything explained to him.
You have your built-in story like reason why you have an explanation, and he's not gonna
rent the bull. I'll take 3. Grill him up. Grill up nicely, please.
It doesn't feel forced either, which is great. Like it feels.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it doesn't.
Like it fits really well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Totally in character. Yeah, it's super fun. Yeah, you really get to see. It really does look like the canals of Venice, like a city built on water. You know, people are boating around or on the bulls, trying to like get around.
Yeah,
these cool like open marketplaces and water elevators, canals that flow upstream, or if they, well, I guess they flow downstream, but you can go upstream on them.
Yeah, which comes in handy.
Very cool
like
intro.
that explains like how like logistically again that like that works in this like world that like Otis had like, these rules. Like this is like their means of addressing that.
Yep.
And then I like how when they Luffy shows like the treasure to the Yagura Bowl owner, and he's like, "Oh, I'll take some of that."
Yeah.
By the way, the price just went up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like these people like walk around in masks that they noticed. So it seems like there's something going on with that.
Funny looking
some kind of
characters.
like a festival or something.
Suspicious. We also see a massive sea creature that people are riding. I wonder if that's like the top tier that the bull renter was talking about. He said there's 3 tiers. There's Yagara, Rabuka, and King. So that might be
Could be a king.
that might be the king. It's pretty big.
Yeah, because it looks like there's a bunch of people on the back.
Yeah.
It's like a party boat.
Party boat. The booze cruise.
Zoro's like, sign me up.
Yeah, right. Kokoro too. I love that Zoro and his bull go immediately to the meat stand, and they're like, "Yeah, we make this water meat for the bulls," and Luffy orders a bunch of them and just starts eating them himself. Or I guess she does say it's people food, but still, I thought that was pretty funny.
They like it too. Yeah, and then meanwhile, Zoro's the only one left on the Mary with Sanji. So Sanji's like, I'm not gonna be here with you. Guard the ship, okay? Oh, he's already asleep. And it's like good thing Zoro did stay behind because at the end, it looks like some people are boarding the Mary.
Yep, trying to kill him in his sleep.
Yeah. Also, we do get a few name drops here for some of the shipwrights. So we see there's Uchi. Somebody mentions Polly. There's a Lulu, and there's a Tilston.
Those are names, all right.
They are names.
And it looks like Luffy's trying to find his way to the Carpenters. But yeah, it seems like the townspeople are prideful about like the shipwrights. The residents seem to like revere them. So it seems like you can get like a sense that there's a lot of like this is like a very commercialized like city, like very business heavy and influence, and like it seems like that's kind of like the main draw is like the business aspect with the shipbuilding, but there's like a whole bunch of like other things interspersed here with like the shops and businesses and stuff. But like yeah, there's a big industry here that really drives the town.
And these bulls seem to be pretty intelligent. Like they're kind of just like little they're like seahorses. And I mean that like literally, not like
like you ride them like a horse.
But they seem to like know where to go, like with little instruction.
Yeah, that's good for new people entering the city.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Seems about right.
All right, let's move on to Gedatu's Unexpected Life on the Blue Sea, Volume 11. Unexpectedly, I struck upon something. Gedatu accidentally finds a source of water in the ground.
Okay, he's making progress. Just not intentionally, but...
And they both make the exclamation marks. This time there's 3 of them, so it resembles the shirt.
Sticking to a theme. Don't know what the theme is, but he's sticking to it.
Okay.
I think you're onto something though with the steam, like it being steam and like steam back.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Okay. Chapter 325, The Franky Family. The gang attacking Zoro introduce themselves as the bounty hunters, the Franky family. They're eager to collect on Zoro's bounty, but Zoro defeats them all easily. Robin and Chopper explore the city as they come across a bookshop. Chopper is excited and decides to head in. Before Robin can head in as well, a masked figure passes by and whispers, "I'm with CP9." Robin looks back, but doesn't see the figure. As Chopper looks at the books, he realizes Robin isn't with him. Luffy, Nami, and Usopp have brought the treasure to an appraiser who admires their haul. He offers them a generous amount of 100 million berries. Luffy's excited and ready to accept, but Nami puts her foot down. She tells the appraiser to try again and give him what the gold is actually worth. Instead, they walk out with 300 million. Now with all this cash, they need to be careful. Luffy immediately almost accidentally throws his briefcase into the water and catches it in time. Luffy is no longer allowed to carry the money. They arrive at Dock 1, where they are greeted by one of the shipwrights, Kaku. Luffy is confused and thinks he is Usopp, because he too has a long nose, despite Usopp standing right next to him. They ask to speak to Iceberg and show him the letter of introduction from Kokoro. Kaku explains that Iceberg is actually the mayor of Water 7. He's also the president of Galley Law Company, as well as in charge of managing the sea trains. He says that Iceberg is very busy, but he'll help them with the ship repairs. He says he'll be back in 10 minutes to go assess the damages to the ship. They wonder how he's going to get there so quickly, but he takes off and is able to jump around the town extremely fast. Iceberg arrives and tells him Kaku will be fine, as he often runs around the town freely. Okay, so we got a little bit of stuff going on here.
What a bunch of weirdos these Franky family guys are.
Yeah, a bunch of weirdos.
Weirdos.
We can silence even crying children.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yes, I mean, hey, man. Good for you.
Yeah, Zoro handled them pretty easily.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he needed to pull out the two-sword style Rhino cycle.
Cool attack.
Yeah, so they don't seem
Cool attack, though.
too intimidating.
Mm-hmm. I love Chopper's little moment of like, can I look at the books?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
I just don't want to be a bother.
I guess I forgot that when he goes into human form, his antlers disappear. Has that always been the case?
I think.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
I guess I just forgot that was a thing. But yeah, CP9. What does that mean?
CP9.
So I think the image of the clown CP9 person, whatever, the masquerade, is one of the creepiest images in One Piece ever. It's just so like ominous, just like hee, I'm with CP9. And she's just like immediately starts sweating bullets. Like, what the fuck does that mean? What's going on?
Clearly meant something to Robin.
Yeah, she seems to have a clue of what this means. So,
I did look at Stephen Paul's translation for it because I remember like this scene vividly from when I watched the anime. Apparently, like raw translation is just CP9. No, I'm with. Maybe that's like a contextual thing, like carrying over translation wise, but like it's just like CP9, and she's just like, oh, this is bad immediately, and that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Code word for something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we actually got that, I also wanted to mention here that Robin had picked up that. So she says that at San Faldo, another island on the sea train route, a costume festival is being held. And Chopper's like, huh, how do you know that? And Robin says, I heard people talking on the street. And Chopper's just like amazed that like Robin picked up on those details just from like listening. So we've seen in the past, like just in general, Robin usually will just sit and watch. Like I was like talking about earlier in the volume, like she usually will be a silent like observer. So that's like very much in line with her character, and seems that's like a habit of hers. She says like she like just listens and tries to pick up information. So yeah, I just think it's a really interesting little character moment here for Robin. It also gives us some context as to why people are in these masks and like what's going on with that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then Chopper being excited to go to the bookstore is like when I'm like, oh, can I go look at the toy aisle? I'll be real quick. I just gotta check out the toys real quick.
But so it's Robin who's with him because like she's always reading too. So it's like,
yeah,
dude, of course, yeah, man.
Let's all go in.
Yeah.
The person in the bookstore thinks that Chopper is in the costume.
Oh yeah,
he gets away with it. It's Halloween. Yeah,
right.
He could probably get away with his normal form too. They just think he's a kid or something. Like,
yeah.
And then I love this appraisal scene that we have here.
That's great.
Yep.
Well, first we see like the building is like bending with the appraiser's like assessment. Like then like Luffy and Usopp are like shocked at the amount they're about to be offered. And it's a good thing they have Nami here, who's a little bit more shrewd. And she knows what she has here. So she's like, I had a number in mind. How about you get closer to that number?
Let's bring that up just a bit.
Yeah. This is Nami's wheelhouse. You said it. She put her foot down,
Yeah.
figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. There goes Luffy mentioning the bronze statue again.
He really wants that.
Really
Top
wants
of
it.
mind. In the scene where he almost drops the suitcase in the water. And they both go diving in and he reaches out and catches it last second. That was a great
It's just
scene.
like how careless Luffy is to just be swinging the money around, and he's like, "Whoops."
Is it
Like,
just me or does
guard
he
that with
seem
your
like...
life.
Sorry. Does he seem like especially crackheaded in this like scene here? Like more than normal?
I would say more than normal.
he's
I would
giddy.
say like normally,
Yeah. For the
like
money.
this feels like
Yeah,
something
he's
Luffy
like
would
giddy
be doing.
about. This is their first big haul. Like this is their first time really like cashing in.
Hmm.
I think he
Yeah.
might just be like drunk on money.
Yeah, money really changes people. Oh wait, no, it doesn't. Not this case.
Oh, never.
No.
No.
No, Luffy's the same old carefree person,
Yeah.
Yep.
and he gets a nice beating in the next next page.
Yeah.
They don't
No
even let
one
him
beats
ride
on this crew like Nami.
So they don't even let him ride with like any of the money. So like they have like their suitcases in their boat while Luffy's like by himself. He's like, "Hey, come on, guys, let me carry one of them." Like,
Yep.
They're gonna be this Usopp guy.
Yeah, it's Usopp impersonator over here.
He seems cool. I like him.
I do too. I like him too. Not quite sure what his ability is, but he's able to just like parkour level 1,000.
So just one thing I wanted to point out here, I feel like it's a little bit lost in translation. So one of Luffy's first interactions with him, so he says something like, so he looks at the letter from Kokoro, and Luffy looks at him confused, like, "Huh? Like, are you middle aged?" And he says, "But I'm 23." So one thing that doesn't like translate to why Luffy is confused about his age is because the way he speaks in Japanese, like he uses like the phrasing that he uses is specifically like how somebody that would be like an elder would use like a more formal like way of speaking. So that's not something that you can really get from this context. So I think they might try to use like language that might like words that might sound like something that like would be like, oh, like maybe like you whippersnappers or something, but like it's not something that's immediately apparent from like the English version that we see here. So just a little context as to why people are confused by his age.
Gotcha.
Because that's why he talks. Yeah.
They do say, "Well, you sure talk old."
Yeah.
It's like there's just some things like I'll jot over. What's the main one I saw? I get like a very professional vibe from him.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know if it's the full old man.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the context of the interaction. But he's definitely not an old man because he's pretty spry and energetic here. As he does a few stretches and he's off. You know, he jumps off like this tower and it's like free falling. It's a pretty cool panel.
People seem to recognize him as well. It's not his first time jumping from rooftop to rooftop.
It's probably like a daily occurrence.
Yeah.
It's a great shot of him jumping off the building there.
Yeah, definitely. They call him Mountain Wind.
What a cool guy.
All right. Anything else?
I think.
Okay. Did you have something?
No, I just like Kaku.
Okay.
I just like him a lot.
No, his nose is square.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious. So like how Luffy's like legitimately confused that
I'm right
like,
next to
is
you.
It Usopp?
What a moment.
All right, moving on. Hidatsu's Unexpected Life on the Blue Sea, Volume 12. I unexpectedly awakened the legendary boss of the Earth. Water wasn't the only thing that was dug up, as a giant mole now stands before them with a giant pickaxe.
Oh boy.
Hooey.
Yeah, so this guy looks like he means serious business. All right, let's get admin summary for the next chapter.
Okey-doke. Chapter 326, Mr. Iceberg. Sanji explores the shopping center as he does some grocery shopping. On his way back to the merry-go, he gets lost. Fortunately, he spots Robin, who is accompanied by a masked companion. He calls out to her and chases her down, but as soon as he catches up to them, they seem to mysteriously disappear into thin air. Meanwhile, Kaku arrives at the merry-go where Zoro mistakes him for a long-nosed crewmate. Back at the shipbuilding factory, Luffy, Nami, and Usopp are introduced to Iceberg. Water 7 Mayor and Gali La, company president, and his secretary Khalifa, who has a full dossier on the Straw Hat crew. Oh, and his new pet mouse, Tyrannosaurus. Iceberg offers to give the Straw Hats a tour of the shipbuilding factory, but before they can begin, the Franky family arrive, stealing 2 suitcases from Usopp, making off on Yagara bulls. Just then, a shipwright named Polly, who's being pursued by bill collectors, sees an opportunity and jumps from a bridge above the Franky family. Using a rope technique, he wrangles the Franky family from their Yagara bulls and inadvertently wins back the suitcases. Usopp thanks Polly for his heroics, but now knowing about the money in his possession, Polly takes off.
I'd like to say I wouldn't. I'd like to say that I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But also, like, this man's in debt, and like, you know.
Thanks for saving my 200 million
Million
berries in those 2 suitcases.
Oh, finder's fee.
Wait,
Yep,
how much?
He did them a service. I'm just saying. All he did
Yeah,
nothing
right.
wrong.
Finder's fee.
Even though, like, I had seen the scene multiple times before, and I knew that, like, the money was gonna get yanked, my heart still skipped a beat when I saw them behind Usopp.
Yeah.
Like, audible gasp. Oh no.
That's the bronze statue.
No.
That's the bronze statue.
It's nice we're getting, like, a bit more personality, all this development of this neat little cast of characters here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I find his approach to his schedule is pretty funny here.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
No, cancel everything.
I'm powerful enough to be able to do what I like. I really am. You're a total failure as a mayor.
Then after canceling everything, he's picking his nose. He's like, today's boring. Let's just do a tour.
You do a tour every day.
He's like, this is boring. I got nothing planned.
You want to see a
That's good. You
factory?
just clear it up.
Yeah.
And he just
So-
got the mouse that day.
Yeah, it's brand new mouse. Tyrannosaurus.
That's funny.
Oh my god.
I kind of love
Yeah,
that
that
act for a
money
Seems
mouse.
to act on impulse a lot.
And the way he also handles the letter from Kokoro, he reads it and it just says, check out their ship for them. And he just rips it up. And then they're like, please, can you like fix the ship? And he's like, sure. And like, oh, that was easy. It's like, they didn't really like have to like convince him. And they asked why he tore up the letter. It's like, the kiss is creepy because there's a little kiss mark on it. He didn't explain why he's ripping it up at first.
Yeah. Again, like, it's just magically so convenient for them, but it doesn't feel out of place
Yeah.
at all.
Yep.
And Iceberg seems to know the Franky family pretty well. Whereas
Yeah, not their first
they're
rodeo.
hooligans. Yeah.
It sounds like they have like frequent run-ins with them.
Speaking of run-ins, Sanji sees Robin,
Mm.
and the mysterious masked person gets even more mysterious.
Mega mysterious.
Yeah. Like Robin seemed to be ignoring Sanji.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After she
You
just
know
said
how
that she like
serious this
you
is.
know she's observant and listens to people, so you would think maybe she would have picked
Right.
up if she heard Sanji.
Oh, it's just Usopp.
Right.
Mhm.
Hold it, who the heck are you?
Right.
Yeah, like, I love
Really
the panel recognition
Yeah.
where like where he like you can see like a side by side with like Usopp and like Kaku, and then Zoro's like, wait, you're not Usopp, like.
Which, like, to be
So
fair,
good.
a bunch of dudes did just attack the ship.
He's waking up.
He's
from a
he's on
nap.
defense mode,
He's a
yeah.
little,
Yeah.
he's a little tired.
Maybe a little ornery at that point.
Yeah, and then we see Paulie in action.
Mhm.
Lassoing a man with the world's biggest face.
And then we have a Khalifa.
Also in action.
Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe a little too much action when she
A little
kicks
too much
Iceberg in the
action.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Usopp. Poor Iceberg.
Yep. Friendly fire.
We good to move on?
Yeah, I just also like Polly's fighting style a lot. Like, it just seems so creative, like just using ropes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's your superpower.
yeah. Maybe we'll see more of that in action.
Pretty handy with those ropes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sure it does
Cool.
like come in handy with shipbuilding. I'm sure it has some ropes stuff up all the time.
Mhm.
I'm just realizing his jacket has cigar holders on it. Like those are all cigars in his jacket. That's amazing. Smoker
Yeah,
would be
that's
proud.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
Smoker's like, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that jacket?
All right, let's finish off the volume. Chapter 327, Shipbuilding Island, Repair Dock Number 1. Shipwright Rob Lucci apprehends Polly, who recovered the Straw Hat's stolen money. Iceberg apologizes and says it's good the Franky family wasn't able to take the money. They explain the Franky family is a group of dismantlers that are also bounty hunters on the side. They target pirates and dismantle their ships. Lucci and Polly return with the money. Lucci's pigeon, Hattori, also apologizes for the trouble, which amazes Luffy that the bird can talk. Polly is still upset that Lucci stopped him from taking the money, so he sends some ropes at him. After a brief fight and a demonstration of some impressive abilities, Luffy tells Polly that he shouldn't be fighting Lucci, as a pigeon is the one who is calling the shots. Now he figures out he's using ventriloquism, which amazes Luffy and Usopp. Iceberg admits that the shipwrights are all pretty strange, but they are all highly skilled. He brings them into Dock 1, where they can see the large workforce making a massive galleon. Luffy asks Iceberg if he wants to join his crew, to which he says he can't, as he's the mayor. But if he can find someone who is willing to become a pirate, they are free to go with Luffy. As Usopp is admiring the cannons, the members of the Franky family have returned and sneak up on him. At this time, Kaku returns with an update on his assessment. After inspecting the Mary, he has determined the ship is not repairable and won't even be able to make it to the next island. The Mary will never sail again.
Dun dun dun.
Say it ain't so.
Oh, Evan.
Say it ain't so.
I'm sorry I had to
I
hear it
refuse
this
to
way.
believe that as fact. I refuse.
Let's just say you won't be alone.
Yep. It's a valid take.
Yeah, so pretty shocking end to the volume.
You got Zoro looking all melancholy, being like, "Mary, is that true?" Like, oh my god.
And we just end the volume on the figurehead. I'm fine. Sure.
That can't be the end of that.
No, it's definitely not the end of that.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. But this is Kaku's opinion. But I mean, if anybody can fix the Mary, I think it's probably going to be these guys.
Yeah,
So I think they're in the right place.
We did spend 5 chapters hyping up their skills. They sound credible.
Yeah.
And we get some cool shots of the shipyard itself in this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
They're building like a huge galleon.
It is like insane, the scale of that. I also really like this chapter too. It's so neat seeing all these just weird personalities interacting with each other.
Mhm.
Like this was already an interesting bunch, but now we had the weird pigeon ventriloquism man, and then it's just hooey.
Yeah, he might be the weirdest one so far.
He is quite weird.
I think if there's like, I know you like this isn't mainly about the live action, but if there's one Luffy moment I want to see adapted, and one that I really want Iñaki Godoy to pull off, is when it's like, no, the guy who made fun of you.
The pigeon.
That's peak Otakame.
I love
Uh,
Yeah, I mean that's just absolutely hilarious how Luffy thinks that the pigeon's calling the shots, and like no, your real beef's with the pigeon. Like, leave that guy alone.
It's so silly. It's so silly.
It takes them so long just to get over that it's a talking pigeon too.
Yeah.
Multiple frames of like, it's a pigeon. It's a talking pigeon.
It's a talking pigeon.
It talked again.
But he's equally impressed when he finds out like what's really happening.
I feel like if you like did the thumb trick for Luffy, he'd be like, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
Are you Buggy's? Are you like Buggy's cousin? Like, did you also eat the fruit? Like,
So we do have like a brief fight here with Paulie and Lucci, and Paulie's using his rope action. So we do see the rope techniques that he has, and he like flips Lucci over, like he throws him with the rope, and then Lucci like catches himself using just like one hand, and like pretty much like digs into the ground. So like he seems like crazy strong.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
So we've got like a lot of different like fighting styles and levels of strength here. A lot of cool feats.
Yeah, for sure.
I really, one of the things I really like about this arc, and spoilers, Water 7 is probably one of my favorite arcs, if not my favorite arc of this entire manga, but it's just neat how Oda is taking so much time to set the stage with like the setting and the characters and like the way that this whole city works, and just this like, okay, Luffy wants a carpenter, but like look at all these different options we have. I don't know, it's just,
and they all seem unique and weird, and you're like, oh, any of these could fit on the crew.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's really just exploring.
But like already, like they get their hands on some money and people are already after it. So like, like they have to be careful to like try to keep this money. But yeah, I mean, it seems at this point the Franky family still isn't done wreaking havoc. Like this is like the third time we've already seen the Franky family, and they just seem to be like always in the way. So like they're just like pests that they have to deal with at this point.
Didn't they also mention something about like the leader of the Franky family? Like these aren't even like the main guys. These are just some of like.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Iceberg mentioned like.
Yeah.
He stays in the shadows, something like that.
Yeah. Like these guys you don't have to worry about, but like the leader, he's a problem.
Yeah. There's a bunch of mooks.
Sounds like the Mary is going to be an expensive fix.
Mm-hmm.
If they can fix it at all.
I mean, hopefully there's still budget left for the bronze statue.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I also just really like the little bit of exposition we get onto Iceberg. The fact that he just like made a conglomerate of these 7 competing companies.
Yeah.
Like it's no wonder that everyone in the city loves him so much. Like he just seems like he's like a good leader that can rally people around him.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, that must be why they call it Water 7.
Mm-hmm.
Checks out.
But yeah, he's also a skilled shipbuilder in his own right.
Yeah, he's just the whole package. What a guy.
Yeah, he doesn't seem interested in joining Luffy's crew though.
Nah,
Wow.
He's got his hands
but
full.
he looks like the sketch.
He does
I mean,
look
there's
like the
still
sketch,
still some arc left. So
Well, I'm saying we can't rule him out. That's all I'm saying.
right?
True.
I mean, a lot of people that Luffy's tried to recruit were not interested at first. So
Mm-hmm.
Actually, majority, if not all of them,
Pretty much.
started off uninterested.
the only one that seemed really interested was Robin, who like forced herself onto the crew.
Right.
Mhm.
Everyone else said no first.
Yeah.
Speaking of Robin, she does not seem to be having a good time right now.
Yeah, so now she's
Yeah, what's
MIA.
up with that?
Oh, that was the last chapter. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's
I mean,
So
she's
fine.
still not having a good time, I expect.
As far as we know.
or maybe she's having a great time because she's going to the festival.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
She's wanted a mask. That's why.
They only had one ticket, so she's like, I gotta sneak out of here.
All right. Anything else on this chapter or volume as a whole?
I'm so excited.
I'm very excited.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Except
Okay.
for the Mary, they seem sad.
Yeah.
No, that better get fixed. Better figure that out.
Yeah.
All right, so that would be for another time. But for right now, we did finish the Long Ring Longland arc. So how about we get some rankings here? Let us start with Sean's rankings. Yeah, Sean, do you want to give us a quick rundown of your current rankings?
Yes. I have an S tier, Arlong Park at the very tippy top, followed closely by Alabasta. In Skypiea, in A, I have Skypiea, then Bharati, then Little Garden, Logue Town, Romance Dawn, Syrup Village, Drum Island, and Jaya at the bottom of A. And then B, I have Orange Town at the top, then Whiskey Peak, then Reverse Mountain. I have nothing in C, and I have nothing in D, except nope, yeah, okay, yeah. So is Long Ring Long Island, is that containing Foxy as well, or is that its own little thing, or is that
That's all Foxy.
okay? So
that's basically the Foxy arc.
I made no illusions about my distaste for Foxy in some ways early on, but as I've reread this, I realized, and it's something I've learned more over the course. I did some research too. It's largely because the anime drags that shit out way longer than the manga does. It's really not that bad in the manga, but in the anime, it's like I'm so fucking sick of these stupid Foxy bullshit things.
That's very valid.
So judged purely on the manga, I'll put it at the bottom of B. It's still like not that impressive to me, but it's not a D. Like I was initially going into this being like, this is my first D. I'm like, no, it's not. It's the bottom of B.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. And to Sean's point, like they added filler essentially for the Foxy arc and dragged it out and put like more games in there, and like there was like more like swapping of the crew and everything. So like it really does get dragged out. Whereas like the manga does feel a lot more concise and like a quick adventure. Like it doesn't take too long to get through it. But yeah, like the anime does really drag it out. So I could definitely see that being very valid. All right, Evan, how about you walk us through your current rankings?
All right, currently in S tier, I have Alabasta, Arlong Park, Paratier, and Skypiea in that order. And then in A, I've got Drum Island, Little Garden, Lodgetown, Jaya, Romance Dawn, Syrup Village, and in B tier, Whiskey Peak, Reverse Mountain, Orange Town. And I think I'm going to put this one. I think we're going to put it at top of B.
So before Whiskey Peak?
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that this was a really funny, like when Joel and I were talking about it, I think it was like one of the funniest arcs that we've gone through so far. I just thought like Oda's jokes were all landing.
Yeah. right, cool. And yeah, how about we get Cody's rankings as well, up to this point, because we haven't had
Sure.
your insight into the series quite yet. So where you kind of stand here?
Yeah. Starting things off, I may have a quite controversial take for my top arc. For me, S tier is Baradier as the top arc, followed by Arlen Park and Alabasta. And this may just be nostalgia, my own subjective bias talking, but I think our Baradier just has like a lot of big emotional impact. And I guess not to say Arlen Park and Alabasta don't, because like obviously it's Arlen Park and Alabasta, but I think the way it just ramps up and shit just hits the fan, to me, there's something that just feels really special about that. And to me, that's why it's one of my favorites. Sanji was also my favorite Straw Hat for a very long time. So that's why that's in my top one right now. But it's very, 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 very closely followed by Arlen Park and Alabasta. A tier, Drum Island, Jaya, Orangetown, Skypiea, Romance Dawn. And then B tier, I had Syrup Village, Reverse Mountain, then Logtown, then Little Garden and Whiskey Peak. And I enjoy Longing Longland. And I do think I got more of an appreciation for the comedy of it this time around. But I do feel like I put in like it's still B tier. I'd say just above Little Garden and Whiskey Peak, but only because like Logtown, Reverse Mountain, I think those ones just hit such heights that it's it's hard to get to that level. And I think Longing Longland is just it's a breather arc, and I feel like that's just where it goes for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, mid B.
All right, fair. Yeah, and then when it comes to like the series, like everybody has such a personal experience with the series. Like there's just some arcs that will hit harder for some people, like, and they mean something different to everybody. That's like what I think is so great about the series is different things can mean different things to people, and they have different appreciation. So yeah, that's what I love about the series. Like there's just so much to love, and like at the end of the day, it's like what do you enjoy the most out of the series? You know?
This was like the first tournament arc, like
Yeah,
tournament
yeah.
style, or like it had different stakes because it was more of a tournament instead of like a battle to the death. I mean, it was
Right.
a battle to the death, but like kind of in a different had rules and fans and kind of had different vibe.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody was meant to die.
No, yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
could have died.
All right, so for my current rankings, S tier, I have Alabasta, Arling Park, Jaya, Drum Island. A tier was Skypiea, Bratier, Little Garden. B tier was Syrup Village, Logtown, Orangetown, Romance Dawn, Whiskey Peak, Verse Mountain. So I probably have the most different take on Long Ring Longland. I put an A tier after Skypiea.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Ahead of Bratier?
Yeah. So probably to Cody's dismay, but to like
here.
no, but like I was saying, it's a personal thing for everybody, and I think this is commonly a lot of people's least favorite arc in the series. But for me personally, like I had such a good time with it. Like Evan and I were cracking up, like talking about it. Like we talked about, like last volume, I think was like legitimately the funniest volume in the entire series of One Piece. Like there was like so many jokes. Like some of my favorite jokes in the entire series are in that, like the interactions with Sanji and Zoro, and they're part of the fight. Like like the stuff with, like Tanji, like and like him being like so goofy and drinking like the like wanted to drink the milk that became cheese. Yeah, just like, a lot of like really funny stuff. Like in the arc, and I just have such a good time with it. I think it's a lot of fun, and some like some of the best interactions with the crew as well, because now we've gotten to a point where like we know these characters so well, and now we kind of have like these versions of the characters that are so like familiar to us, and like they can really play around with like their personalities, and it really shines, I think, in like an arc like this where it's kind of low stakes. Plus, also like the Aokiji stuff was like pretty crazy. But like that's like kind of like secondary to I think the like just the overall humor of the arc. But that's also like a really cool like flip side to it, where it's like very serious all of a sudden, where things like feel like they just got real, and like it's such like an introduction to this character. So I just think overall it's actually a much stronger arc than I would initially expected going into it, and I just like really enjoyed going through it this time.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Most stuff.
All right. So lastly, we do have the villain rankings. So this is a shared list that we have. So currently, S rank, we have Crocodile, Arlong. Next, we have an A tier, Enru, then Buggy. B tier was Kuro, Wapple, and then Krieg. Sean, where would you put Foxy?
Okay. I'd put him like I think he's our first C tier. I don't know. I know you're going to disagree, but I'd say he's our first C tier. Not a D tier. I don't despise him, but he's our to me. I'm going to say C.
Okay. How about you, Evan?
I was kind of picturing him like I put him on the same level as like Wapple. I thought he'd be like on one side or the other of Wapple.
All right. So do you think above or below Wapple?
I guess below, but I don't know. I'd put him in the same general vicinity as Wapple.
All right. And how about you, Cody?
This is tough. So I am still getting.
What do you think of the current standings too? We haven't really gotten your opinion.
Yeah.
Are you shocked?
Not completely. So I did watch like part of actually I watched your previous ranking before this. And I was surprised by the fact that Anaru is higher than Buggy, but again, subjective bias. Completely agree with Crocodile and Arlong and S tier. And I guess when I was rereading Skypia, like to me, like the difference between S and A tiers, it's so many times during Alabasta, I think, God, Crocodile's such a bastard. Whereas everyone like, this guy's a dick. You know, I feel like that's like the difference between like S tier and A tier. I hope that's not too much swearing for the podcast.
No.
I've said
but
much worse.
And so when I think of Foxy, I'm like, yeah, this guy's a dick. Yeah, this guy really sucks. He's really underhanded. He does not care about screwing people over. He's, I guess, like playing above his station or whatever. And to me, I was going to put Foxy like A tier below Buggy. But then when Evan mentions Wapol, I'm like, well, Kuro is also like just as scheming, but more capable, I guess, or I guess more ambitious. So I think I'd put Foxy adjacent to Kuro, whether that's low A or like mid B or high B. It's somewhere in that zone, personally.
Okay, so you put him above Wapple?
Yeah, definitely above Wapple.
Okay.
And sorry, one more thing. I know Krieg is last. I don't know if that's because we dislike him or like him the least.
Our general consensus is that he relies entirely on gadgets and gizmos, and he just has a big bag of tricks, and he doesn't feel that impressive otherwise.
Yeah, and then he kind of got like overshadowed by Mihawk.
Yeah,
so,
and
like,
Mihawk
in his own arc.
Yeah,
in his own arc, he wasn't even like the biggest like threat. So he kind of felt like more underwhelming in comparison to somebody like Mihawk.
I see. Okay, yeah. I guess I didn't feel as much on the latter point. I don't know, the Mihawk thing just felt more detour to me. But again, different experience and less communal from my reading of it. I like the fact that Krieg feels like a big bag of tricks, because I feel like that's like the whole thing is like, you can't be this. This guy sucks. But that also might be like conflating him with the arc rather than him, like him in a vacuum. Yeah, he sucks. But him in context of his arc, oh, okay, Oda's saying something. So that may be where things diverge a bit there.
Yeah, I think it's just like overall as a whole in comparison. Yeah, I would actually put Foxy right above Kuro. So,
Okay.
but in B tier, I'll keep him in B tier.
Yeah.
So at this point, I think we don't have enough votes to put him above Wapple. So we don't have enough agreement to put him there. So I think we'll have to put
I'm fine
him.
putting him above Wapple.
Yeah,
That's what I was
let's
saying.
put
I
him
was like either side of Wapple is fine with me.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
again,
So do we
want to-
want to put him between Kuro and Wapple?
Fine by me. I mean, you know
Works for
my
me.
feelings, but it's
Works for
fine.
me.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where he'll be in B tier. But yeah, I think Foxy's just like a fun villain. Again, not like super high stakes, but just like the gags and like the concept of the Davy Back fight. I think was a good time. Overall, I just think he's like very entertaining as a whole, but like in a different way than like Wapple or Krieg. I just think he was like a more fun villain to have in like the context of his arc.
He did have an undefeated record, too.
It was
We
impressive.
didn't mention that. Impressive record.
Okay, so with that being said, that will conclude this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at We Are Reading One Piece podcast.buzzsprout.com or on our YouTube channel at We Are Reading One Piece. At We Are Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler-free channel up to where we have recorded the podcast. So if you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. You can also find me and this podcast on my YouTube channel at Pirate King Codex for various One Piece content. Next episode, we'll be discussing Volume 35, Captain. I've been Joel, and I've been joined by Sean.
This has been Sean.
Evan.
Hey, thanks for listening.
And Cody.
Great to meet you.
All right. Well, thanks for coming along. Be sure to bring along all of your hopes and dreams, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Mary, will you really never sail again?